Betty and Ruth were taking a walk together one day, and Betty turns to her friend and asks her, "What did you do yesterday?" And she replies, "I'm not sure." "You're not sure?" Betty asks. I don't remember," responds Ruth. "I've been having trouble remembering things." Betty thinks for a moment and says, "Well, I think you said you were going to visit an antique store yesterday." "Oh, yes!" Ruth suddenly exclaims. "I did go to an antique store. I was rummaging around when I found this strange bottle. And when I tried to rub the dust off of it, smoke came out. And then a genie appeared. The genie told me he would grant me a choice between two wishes. He would either improve my memory or he would turn my husband into a great lover." "That's incredible," says Ruth. "Which one did you choose?" Betty answers, "I don't know. I don't remember." Is that what it takes to learn to better love one another, the magic of a genie? Sometimes it might seem so. Loving others can be hard, especially if you're not used to being loved yourself. If the Beatles were right, and all we really need is love, then why does it seem so hard to get the love we need? In my last sermon, I suggested that the best way to get love was to give love, and that we first need to begin by offering love to ourselves. I suggested that love is not something out there that needed to be found or discovered. Rather, it is found within ourselves when we are patient and silent enough to experience it. Love is a desire to be in a relationship, an interactive and interconnected relationship. And the beautiful creative world we find ourselves is already in relationship with everything else. In other words, the love we seek is already all around us and within us, and we can find it when we cease the thoughts, distractions, and anxieties that mask the love that is hiding just beneath the surface. Love is not a mysterious cloud drifting somewhere out of reach. Love is at the center and radiates outward in all directions like the light from the flame of a candle or a raindrop on the surface of a lake that radiates outward. Love is the center, but the center is everywhere. To find for love for yourself, begin at your center, and then let it flow out in all directions. Once you know you are an equal part of this world, that you are no less than any other, that you have the same worth and value as all beings, then you can begin to be kind to yourself and let the love from within you grow. Love of all begins with the love of one. Start with yourself and extend that love to your life partner, your family, however you may define it, your friends, your community, to other people, to other beings, and the planet Earth. This widening of concern is the essence of the golden rule. Do nothing to others you would not want done to yourself. When you expand your compassion from yourself to others, then what is done to others is done to you as well. If you can do this, you may begin to see a world of many things and many people, not so much that, but as a single entity that has many forms and in many places. Love is the canvas upon which many designs take shape. Sounds simple, right? Then why do we find it so hard? The thing that makes love most difficult is fear. Fear is the great barrier. We fear becoming vulnerable. We fear getting hurt by rejection, heartache, or loss. We fear the pain of giving without recognition. We fear appearing weak in a culture that seems to worship the warrior. But I say to you that you can love and be safe. You can love without the need for repayment. You can love and still remain strong. But again, it begins by having compassion and respect for yourself. You are no less worthy than any other living being on this planet, regardless of what others may tell you or imply out of their own fears. As a creature of value, you can define and set your own boundaries. You can become aware and accept your own strengths and shortcomings without making judgments. You can set healthy expectations for yourself and for others. It has been said that if you expect much from yourself, but little from everyone else, you will rarely be disappointed. You can become like a radio beacon on the hill. Rise tall and be proud. Strengthen your own signal as much as you can, and then send it out to the world. But just like radio signals can run into interference, our efforts to love can often be hampered, and the greatest obstacle to loving others is found through judgment. We are born with a danger alert system that causes us to judge everything that comes our way, either as dangerous or benign. It is an important part of our ability to survive. However, our hyper-vigilant minds often lose those thoughts and they run rampant. We judge everyone and everything, everywhere, all the time. We've designed 1,000 labels to quantify and categorize people into neat little boxes, but those boxes are not real. Every person is unique. No one fits into a box. Then why do we do it? It is so we can dismiss people. It is so we can reject people. It is so we can prevent them from entering our circle of concern and our field of fear. We assume we know everything about another person because we have properly labeled them. Judgment and assessment is how we separate ourselves. Judgment and assessment is how we justify treating others as less than ourselves. Now I know what you're thinking. There goes that minister again on that universal love stuff. Whenever I go on and on about topics like this, I am inevitably asked a question like, well, what about so-and-so? How could such a brutal and cruel person deserve love? And my answer is that we need to separate people from their actions. Actions may be judged, but people always retain their inherent worth. Any and all actions that threaten to cause harm should be evaluated and acted upon always. People like Hitler became the human face of evil because of the horrific actions he took and caused others to take in his name. But it must be remembered, he did not act alone. He was encouraged and supported by people who wanted to cause great harm. If he had not made the decisions he did to follow the path he did, then he would have become an unknown and destitute house painter. Evil is not something we possess. It is something we choose. It is too easy to just judge someone and then dismiss them. We seek to name and blame people rather than hold and mold them. We seek to rise above by putting down. We seek to expand ourselves by diminishing others. Yet all of this is just an illusion we create for ourselves. It is like saying one cloud in the sky is more wonderful than another, or one drop in the ocean is more wet than the rest, or one stone is more deserving than another. I challenge you to try out this spiritual practice. Next time you go in a public place, like, say, a grocery store, walk around and notice your thoughts. Instead of judging every person and everything you encounter, stop yourself. Cease those judgments of what they are doing or who they are. Instead, silently offer each person a blessing that confirms their dignity and value. Release your thoughts about their looks, their actions, their movements, their choices, or any other differentiating feature. Instead of beginning with judgment, try to begin with curiosity. Often we can learn more about ourselves when we take time to learn about others. It will require patience and respect, but the effort can be well worth the time. And we can do that mostly by just listening. Everyone has a story from which we can learn, even if the lesson to learn is to simply just listen. We might not agree with everything being said, but agreement is not a necessary prerequisite for compassion and empathy. Conversely, for those who have judged you or dismissed you, try to respond with forgiveness, not for their sake, but for your own. You can forgive in your heart, though the perpetrator of that hatred might never know. Forgiving with boundaries is how you clear out your own heart so that it may love again, but still remain protected. I believe that love is the divine force that connects the universe. Love is the divine agency that brings us into relationship with each other. Love is the divine presence that makes us fully human, fully worthy, and fully sacred. Love is fully present here, among us, within us, always. It is found in the silence, in the stillness, in the heart, in the depth of the soul. In the name of that which you hold in your heart to be most sacred, may it be so.